Hey, and I just want to say, if you've ever been made fun for being weird, odd, abnormal, just be glad you're not in one of the Mario Land games. There's literally a level where you play around in Mario's balls. The year was, crap. Oh yeah, 1985. Super Mario Bros. Just released to critical acclaim, single-handedly saving the game industry after Atari made a bajillion copies of E.T. And just a year after, we got Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan. Over here, we got Mario Bros. 2, and did you know this was originally not a Mario game? You did know that. You're watching my channel. You definitely know this stuff. Both of these quote-unquote sequels didn't really evolve Mario, however. Mario 2 in Japan was just a bull level pack, and Mario 2 wasn't Mario 2, but the series finally took the next step forward with Mario Bros. 3. This was insane. So many levels, so many fun power-ups, a true evolution of Mario. Man, what's next? And that is what disappointment feels like. Yep, just 1 year after the release of Mario 3, the Mario Land series began. And these were some of Mario's weirdest adventures. These games could not be made today. Sure, sometimes Nintendo can still be pretty wacky, but to this day, this is the weirdest a 2D Mario platformer ever got. That doesn't count. 2 games both equally wacky in every single way. Well, I guess there's 3. Yeah, instead of starting at the start, let's start at the not start. Mario Land 3, Wario Land. I'm not covering this here. It really doesn't feel like it should be included since it's not really a Mario game. Maybe in the future I can cover these wacky little games too, but today we're sticking with these 2. It was the launch of the Game Boy. Nintendo needed something to sell. Sure, they had Tetris, but that was a packing game. So they needed something. So they said screw it and made the weirdest 12 Mario levels anyone could ever imagine. Yep, just 12 levels. And these were so weird. Now, why only 12 levels? Well, for one, this was one of the first portable platformer games ever made. The concept alone must have been hell to make. Especially since at the time, the Game Boy was brand new hardware. They also didn't have a ton of time. I mean, Mario 3 just came out, and just 1 year later we got Super Mario World. That means this game probably had a short dev time and also was definitely made by a B team of some kind, so the little amount of content checks out. What doesn't make sense is everything else. I mean, you would think they want to play it safe for the first portable Mario game, but no. I mean, for one, these world themes are crazy. First you got a basic desert followed by a water theme. Okay, nothing too crazy. Here's Easter Island. Yeah, it checks out. This is then followed by a Japan-inspired world bamboo and such. It's a kind of a shame this game is stuck on the Game Boy because this game would be gorgeous. I mean, the Japan-inspired alone would be amazing to see today. These are ambitious themes, but the Game Boy just doesn't do them justice at all. But somehow, the themes are still coming across despite the limited hardware. Despite only having shades of green, the OG Game Boy can still tell you everything that's going on, and it's seriously impressive. And that's not where the weirdness ends. I mean, these enemies are just so strange. You got Easter Island head guys, woman. This game is so wacky. I mean, the main villain is an alien from outer space. Speaking of that alien, this is Tatanga. He kidnapped Princess Daisy, and yeah, we're not saying Princess Peach this time. Heck, this game doesn't even take place in the Mushroom Kingdom, but in Sarasaland, which is a land divided by 4 kingdoms, all ruled by Daisy. But one day, an alien comes and kidnaps her. It's such a weird direction to go for a Mario game. I mean, most other Mario games take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. The next mainline game to explore places wacky as Sarasaland wasn't until this game's sequel. But that's enough talk about the weirdness of this game. Let's play it. Oh, we're not done with the weirdness. Because, man, this game controls weird. I don't know how to describe it. This controls like in between how Mario Bros. Arcade controls and how Super Mario Bros. Controls. You have some mid-air control, but not a lot, and you have to commit 10 years ahead of time before you make a jump. And you also always have to jump. You can't just fall, because if you fall like a rock. It's honestly insane. I know, also I already know I rant about how weird this game is, but sometimes it's actively just trying to be weird. It's like it gets off the idea of just being freaky. I mean, what is this? The Koopa Troopers explode and, I mean, the fireball doesn't fireball. Yep, this is the only 2D Mario game to not feature the Fire Flower. Instead, meet the Super Ball Flower. This game's only power-up outside of the star that plays royalty-free music. Instead of going forward like a fireball, instead bounces up. Now, why does it do this? I don't know. There are some times where there is an enemy above you, but that is rare. So most of the time, it's just terrible. On top of that, it's really hard to tell what power you have at any time due to primitive visuals, but overall, the game is okay. There are 2 levels that are like shoot 'em ups, and they're pretty fun, but the rest of the game is just... what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, not that great. It's all down to controls, man. It just does not feel good most of the time. And despite how weird the levels are, they don't really get creative. They're just wacky for the sake of wacky, really. And again, it's only 12 levels. I mean, Mario Bros. 1 had 32. Over double this game. Nearly triple, in fact. But at the end of the day, it's fine. I mean, you can't get too mad at a 30-minute long game. And for what it is, it's fine for length. Anyways, the game was enough of a success to get a sequel. But this sequel came out after Mario World. In fact, this was the next game after Mario World. It had to follow it up. It not only had to evolve from Mario Land's basic beginnings, but also evolve from Super Mario World. And that's how we got, in my opinion, one of the best Mario games ever made. Mario Land 2 is not just more ambitious than Mario Land, but more ambitious than Mario World in a lot of ways. We wouldn't be fighting Bowser this time and saving Peach. Instead, after the events of Mario Land, Mario finds out that this private island that he just has now was taken over by Wario, and this was actually Wario's first appearance. Yep, one of the most important Mario characters got his start in this game. That character would even go on to have 2 game series to call his own, and it all started right here. And that's not where the wackiness ends with this game. There's tons of brand new enemies, but that's not just it. There's new gimmicks, new set pieces. This game isn't just weird, it's inventive. So many fun level ideas, but let's just go world by world. But that's the other amazing thing. This game lets you tackle any of the 6 worlds in any order you wish, meaning your first world could be completely different from my first world. But to keep it simple, we'll just go in clockwise order. So let's begin with Tree Zone, and this is so neat. For one, the theme is amazing. This wouldn't be the last time Mario had a tree-themed adventure, but this was the first time. And it gets so creative with it. Like, one level takes place inside a bee's nest, another you have to climb up a tree, and the boss is a giant bird. Yeah, that's the other cool thing about this game. Every world ends with a really unique and creative fight. And you just don't see it in the rest of the Mario series. Sure, Mario Land had unique boss fights, but they all felt pretty similar. This game, they all feel super unique and are so fun. This is a great world, and the game's only getting started. Next is Space Zone. And this one's already pretty cool because of how you unlock it. It's decently hidden compared to the other levels. For one, you have to go through this incredibly fun level where you use bubbles to get around before you find a secret exit taking you to this new zone. And this one's great too. It starts with a fun auto-score level that's actually decent, and ends with a boss battle from Tatanga from the first Mario Land game. So cool. I just wish there were more levels here. Next is Macro Land, and darn, this game is so cool. Now, this is not the first time a Mario level had you explore something in a smaller form, but this is just so creative with it, with you exploring the yard of a house before exploring the inside, and you taking on a rat as the final boss. Next up is Pumpkin Zone, my favorite. I always love scary themed levels in games, and this is one of the best. I mean, look at the main enemy of this zone. Nintendo would never do this today. Then you have Mario Zone where you explore Mario's balls. Dreams do come true. Sadly, this one's a little weaker. Despite the ball stage being peak fiction, the rest of the zone's a little weak, especially the boss, which is just too darn long. Probably the weakest world so far. Screw Turtle Zone, man. And I wish I didn't have to say that because the level themes are so neat. I mean, you explore a sunken submarine inside of a whale. I mean, again, dreams do come true. But who approved these water controls? You're so slow in the water, especially if you're walking at the bottom of the water. And man, it just sucks. But there's only 3 levels, and the last one isn't too bad. And to be fair, it's least affected by the worst thing in this game. When making a power-up for a game, you have a tricky task ahead of you when it comes to balancing it. On one hand, you gotta make the power-up feel like a power-up. No one wants to be the Super Brawl Flower. But on the other hand, You gotta make sure you don't overpower it, because if you do, you get the magic carrot. This turns you into Bunny Mario, and no, he sadly doesn't wear this, instead he just wears the ears. These allow him to fly. Forever. Now, to be fair, in tons of Mario games you have these kinds of power-ups, but this is the only one where it's just too busted, man. You just fly forever, and there's no downsides. If you have this, 99% of the game becomes a breeze, and the game knows this. It only gives you the Fire Flower most of the time, but that doesn't change the fact that carrots are still too easy to get. I just wish it got nerfed a little, man. It doesn't ruin the game, and the great level design still shines through. And speaking of that great level design, this is an incredible final level. You traverse through the now Wario-ized Mario's castle, and it's just so... It's difficult, yes, but it's so fun. There's only one section I would say is dumb, but the rest of the level is honestly great, and the boss is fun too. Wario daunts to gains power-ups and uses them against you. It's the perfect way to end a great game. Too bad it's only an hour. Yeah, despite how fun this game is, with it just being an hour, that feels a little deflating. And yes, that hour is the most creative of any 2D platform I've ever played, but only having an hour to play through is a little deflating. But this wasn't because they didn't have enough time to make more levels. It's because the Game Boy couldn't handle much more. The game constantly hits frame drops and stutters a lot. I mean, look at these massive sprites. They really push this game to the limits here, and it's crazy impressive. Before Mario Wonder, this was by far my favorite 2D Mario game, and to this day, it's still my second favorite. Part of me hopes that this game someday gets a remake like Link's Awakening got, but since this game is so short, it's hard to justify that ever happening. But the game, despite the frame drops, still holds up great, and if you really want more, I mean, Mario Wonder in a lot of ways is basically Mario Land 3. It managed to be just as wacky and inventive, whilst also taking Mario forward in a whole new way, and I could not be happier with it. So I guess despite how weird these two games are, they're what set the groundwork for portable gaming, and in many ways, the future of Mario. So what I'm trying to say is, the world wouldn't be the same if we didn't get to explore Mario's balls. I mean, without this, there would have been like 10 more world wars, trust me. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. This is my 9th video, this one doesn't count. And my next video is going to be sort of a bigger video about a topic I've wanted to cover for a long time, so I've been saving it for this special occasion. And after that, I'll probably begin work on the 100 subscriber special, me ranking every Mario 3D All-Star star. So stay tuned for that, and make sure to subscribe. We're just 6 away from 100, and it really helps you subscribe right now. I also want to end by saying that this anime form of the channel is here to stay. I much prefer this style of content, and it's just super easy to make. I also have a lot of fun making it. I hope you enjoy as much as I do. Anyways, thank you and good night.